Imagine for a moment that there's a version of you living somewhere else. A version that's watching every choice you make and every path you take. What if that other version is sending you subtle signs, trying to tell you something important? You might have felt it too. The feeling that you're not exactly where you're meant to be, that maybe you're in the wrong reality. Today, we're diving deep into that experience, exploring why you might sometimes feel like you're out of sync with the world around you. We're going to mix together ideas from science, spirituality, and everyday life to help you figure out what's really going on and how you might start to tune in to a reality that feels more like you. So stick with me as we embark on this journey to uncover why you might feel like you're living in the wrong reality and what you can do about it. Let's kick things off by talking about what we even mean by reality. When you think of reality, what comes to mind? For most of us, reality is just the world we see, hear, touch, and feel every day. But the truth is, reality isn't as fixed or as straightforward as it seems. At its core, reality is shaped by our perception. Our senses feed us information, and our brain interprets that information to create the world as we know it. But here's the kicker. What we see is filtered through our beliefs, past experiences, and even our emotions. This means that while two people might witness the same event, they can experience it in very different ways. In other words, your reality is as unique as your fingerprint. Modern neuroscience tells us that our brain is constantly constructing our personal reality. It picks out details, fills in gaps, and sometimes even creates whole scenarios based on our expectations and memories. Philosophers have long argued that what we consider real is a mix of objective facts and our subjective interpretation of them. And when those two don't quite line up, when the internal picture you're holding onto clashes with the external world, it can leave you with a nagging sense that something's off. This feeling that you might be in the wrong reality can stem from that very mismatch between your inner world and the outer world. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. No matter how hard you try, something just doesn't align. And as we dig deeper, we'll see how these ideas open up a whole conversation about the possibility of multiple realities, where every decision and every thought could be branching out into different lives. Have you ever had one of those moments when everything around you just seems off? Like you're watching life unfold from the outside, or like there's a disconnect between how you feel inside and what's happening around you. You're not alone. Many people report feeling like they're living in a reality that doesn't quite match up with their inner sense of self. Think about that eerie feeling of déjà vu, the sense that you've been somewhere or experienced something before, even though you know you haven't. Or those random moments when you're hit by an intuition so strong, it feels like a whisper from another version of you, nudging you in a different direction. These experiences are more common than you might think, and they might be clues that you're momentarily out of sync with the right version of reality. It could be that your life's current circumstances don't fully reflect who you are or who you're meant to be. Maybe you've settled into routines that feel comfortable but lack that spark of authenticity. Or perhaps you're at a crossroads, and deep down, you sense that a different choice might lead to a more fulfilling path. In these moments, you might experience a mix of confusion, restlessness, or even a bittersweet longing for something else, something more real, more true to your inner self. We're going to explore these signs in detail, uncovering how sensations like déjà vu, recurring dreams, and uncanny coincidences could be your inner compass pointing you toward a reality that resonates with you on a deeper level. It might sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but as we'll see, there's a fascinating mix of science and spirituality that offers some explanations for these phenomena. When we think about what reality means from a scientific perspective, the conversation immediately shifts to some of the most mind-blowing ideas in modern physics and neuroscience. It may sound like science fiction, but quantum physics and related fields are already challenging the very way we understand our universe. In this section, we're going to take a deep dive into these scientific theories, exploring concepts like quantum superposition, the many worlds theory, the observer effect, and the workings of our own brain. We'll break down these complex ideas into everyday language, helping you grasp how our perceptions might only be a small piece of an infinitely larger puzzle. Let's start with quantum physics, the study of the tiniest building blocks of matter. Quantum physics tells us that at a subatomic level, particles don't behave like the solid, predictable objects we experience in our everyday lives. Instead, they exist in a state of possibility until they are observed. This phenomenon is called quantum superposition. Imagine a coin spinning in the air. While it's spinning, it isn't strictly heads or tails. It's in a kind of in-between state. Only when it lands does it choose one outcome. In the quantum world, particles can exist in several states simultaneously. It's only when we observe them or interact with them that they collapse into a single, definite state. Now, this might seem like a peculiar, almost abstract idea, but some physicists have taken it a step further. The many worlds theory, for example, suggests that every time a decision is made, or every time a quantum event occurs, the universe splits into different branches. In one branch, the coin lands on heads. In another branch, it lands on tails. Extrapolate this idea to every moment of your life, every decision you make, every possibility that could have happened but didn't, might actually be unfolding in a parallel universe. There could be countless versions of you living out every possible outcome. One version of you might have taken a different job, moved to a new city, or even pursued a completely different passion. These aren't just abstract ideas. They offer an intriguing scientific framework that might explain why sometimes you feel like you're not entirely in tune with the world you see. Another important concept in quantum mechanics is the observer effect. This principle states that the act of observation itself can influence the outcome of an event. In simple terms, it means that reality isn't entirely independent of us. The tools we use to measure or observe it can actually change what we're looking at. When applied to our everyday experiences, this idea suggests that our awareness and focus might play a role in determining the reality we experience. Think about how your mood or expectations can color your perception of events. When you're happy and confident, the world seems to offer more opportunities. When you're down or anxious, even neutral situations might seem negative. The observer effect in quantum physics hints at a similar idea on a microscopic scale. Our act of observing might be influencing which version of reality we end up experiencing. Let's pause for a moment and consider what this means for you. If the universe is fundamentally probabilistic and every decision could potentially branch off into another reality, then the feeling of being in the wrong reality might be linked to the awareness that another possibility exists, a possibility where your life might be unfolding differently. This isn't just a flight of fancy. It's a perspective that even some of the world's leading scientists entertain. While these ideas may not yet be proven beyond doubt, they provide a fascinating explanation for those moments when you feel disconnected from the world around you, as if you're missing out on a version of life that feels more authentic or fulfilling. But quantum physics isn't the only field offering insights into these ideas. Neuroscience, the study of the brain and nervous system, also plays a crucial role in understanding our perception of reality. Our brain is an incredibly powerful, yet selective filter. Every second, it receives an enormous amount of information through our senses. However, instead of processing every detail, the brain chooses to focus on what it considers important. It constructs a coherent picture of the world based on previous experiences, expectations, and emotional states. This means that what you experience as reality is really a mental model, a version of the world created by your brain. This process of constructing reality is not always perfect. Cognitive biases, for instance, can distort the way we see the world. A bias is like a shortcut your brain takes to make sense of complex information quickly. While these shortcuts are often helpful, they can also lead to errors in judgment. If you're predisposed to feeling unfulfilled or out of place, your brain might filter incoming information in a way that reinforces that feeling. You might notice more of the small details that confirm your belief that something isn't right, while ignoring or downplaying evidence that contradicts it. This selective perception can make it feel like you're living in a reality that doesn't match your inner self, a reality that, in your mind, is somehow wrong. Moreover, our brain's ability to create mental models means that it can sometimes generate experiences that seem to hint at a different reality altogether. Think about the phenomenon of déjà vu. Most people have experienced that strange feeling of familiarity, of being somewhere or doing something that feels like it's already happened before. While scientists are still studying déjà vu, some theories suggest it might be related to the brain's way of cross-checking memories and experiences. In some cases, déjà vu could be your brain's way of catching a glimpse of a reality that exists just a fraction away from the one you're aware of. It might be an echo of a decision not taken, a path not followed, an indication that your mind is aware of more than what it immediately experiences. The idea that our brain creates our reality has been supported by numerous studies. Neuroscientists have shown that when we imagine or visualize something, our brains activate many of the same areas that would be active if we were actually experiencing it. This has led to the suggestion that, by changing the way we think or what we focus on, we can alter our subjective experience of reality. It's as if our thoughts are brushstrokes on the canvas of our experience, capable of reshaping the picture we live in every day. This understanding opens up a whole new perspective. If our internal world shapes our external reality, then by shifting our thoughts and perceptions, we might be able to bridge the gap between the wrong reality we feel trapped in and the life we desire. Scientific inquiry has also ventured into the realm of consciousness itself, the very quality that allows us to experience and interpret reality. Consciousness is perhaps one of the most enigmatic topics in science, with researchers still debating its origins and mechanisms. Some scientists propose that consciousness might not be an emergent property of the brain alone, but could be a fundamental aspect of the universe. This radical idea suggests that consciousness might be woven into the very fabric of reality, influencing the way the universe behaves at its most basic level. If consciousness is indeed a fundamental force, then our awareness might be playing a more active role in shaping the cosmos than we ever imagined. This brings us back to the observer effect. If our consciousness is deeply intertwined with the nature of reality, then the way we choose to observe and interact with the world may have far-reaching consequences. It implies that by changing our inner state, by becoming more mindful, present, and aware, we could potentially influence the unfolding of events in our lives. While this might sound like a leap into the metaphysical, it is grounded in the idea that our perceptions and our mental states have measurable effects on the physical world. This emerging field of research, which bridges physics and cognitive science, suggests that the boundary between the observer and the observed may be far more fluid than we once thought. Now let's connect these scientific ideas to the feeling that sometimes creeps up on you, that nagging sense that you're not quite where you're meant to be. Imagine you're making a decision, any decision, and there's a moment of hesitation, a brief flash of uncertainty. According to quantum theories, that moment could be when multiple outcomes are all hovering in a state of possibility. If you sense that something is off, it might be because a part of you is aware that another outcome, a different reality where things turned out differently, is within reach. Perhaps you've noticed subtle patterns in your life, coincidences that seem too perfectly timed, recurring symbols that show up when you're at a crossroads, or even a dream that felt more real than reality itself. These experiences might be glimpses of a broader spectrum of possibility, hints that the universe isn't as fixed as it appears. To illustrate, let's consider a scenario. Picture a day when you're feeling unusually restless. You go about your routine, but throughout the day, small, seemingly random events start to occur. You catch glimpses of a particular number repeatedly, a number that seems to follow you like a silent guide. You hear a song on the radio that suddenly stirs up a flood of memories, even though you can't pinpoint exactly why. These aren't isolated incidents. They weave together to form a tapestry of subtle signs. In the language of quantum mechanics, it's as if you're receiving signals from another branch of reality, one where different choices were made, leading to a life that resonates more deeply with your inner truth. The science behind these phenomena is still very much a work in progress. Researchers continue to investigate how our brain's perception of time, memory, and sensory input might create these experiences. Some scientists believe that what we call synchronicity could be a natural consequence of the brain's tendency to seek patterns and connections. After all, our brain is hardwired to find order in chaos. It's a survival mechanism that helped our ancestors make sense of an unpredictable world. When that pattern-finding system kicks into overdrive, it might start linking together events that, on the surface, seem unconnected. This can create the impression that the universe is sending you personalized messages from a different reality. Another fascinating area of research involves the study of altered states of consciousness. Whether through meditation, sleep, or even certain chemical substances, many people report experiences that feel as though they momentarily lift the veil on a hidden layer of reality. Neuroscientists have found that during these states, the brain's usual patterns of activity change dramatically. The networks responsible for filtering sensory information might relax their grip, allowing for a more unfiltered and expansive experience of the world. In these moments, the boundaries between past, present, and future can blur, and individuals often describe a profound sense of unity with the universe. Such experiences are sometimes interpreted as brief encounters with other layers of reality, a temporary glimpse into the multiple, interconnected dimensions that quantum physics suggests exist. Of course, while these scientific ideas offer a tantalizing glimpse into the nature of reality, they also remind us that there is still so much we don't know. The theories of quantum physics and consciousness challenge our traditional notions of a fixed, linear world. They open up the possibility that what we experience is just one thread in a much larger tapestry of existence. And while the evidence for these ideas is still emerging, their implications are profound. They invite us to reconsider not just the structure of the universe, but also our place within it. When you take a step back and consider these concepts, it's easy to see why so many people have reported feelings of being out of sync with their world. The idea that reality is not as concrete as we think, that there might be parallel possibilities unfolding alongside our own, can make our everyday experience feel limited or even illusory. It's a perspective that, at its core, is both liberating and a bit unsettling. On one hand, it suggests that we have more freedom than we might have believed. Every choice, every thought might lead to a different outcome. On the other hand, it can be disconcerting to think that the life you're living might be just one version of an infinite number of possibilities. It's important to remember that these scientific ideas, while fascinating, are still evolving. The models we have now are based on the best available evidence, but as our tools and methods improve, our understanding of reality may shift in ways we can't yet imagine. What remains constant, however, is the idea that our perception of the world is deeply personal. The brain constructs reality based on the information it receives, and that means no two people experience the world in exactly the same way. This individual construction of reality is a central theme in both neuroscience and quantum physics, a reminder that the universe is as much about subjective experience as it is about objective fact. Ultimately, Exploring these scientific perspectives invites us to question the nature of our existence. Are we merely passive observers in a fixed universe, or are we active participants co-creating our reality with every thought and decision? The answer may lie somewhere in between. What is clear is that the boundaries between science, philosophy, and even spirituality are becoming increasingly blurred. By considering the implications of quantum mechanics alongside our own inner experiences, we begin to see that the feeling of being in the wrong reality might be a signal, a nudge from the universe that encourages us to explore new possibilities, to question our assumptions, and to take a more active role in shaping our lives. As you reflect on these ideas, you might start to see your own experiences in a new light. Those moments of inexplicable déjà vu, those recurring patterns that seem to defy logic, might be more than just quirks of the mind. They could be clues, hints that the universe is far richer and more complex than the everyday world we perceive. And while science may not yet have all the answers, the journey of exploration itself can be incredibly empowering. In the end, whether you lean more towards scientific explanations or find yourself drawn to the mysteries of consciousness and quantum possibilities, there's no denying that our understanding of reality is undergoing a dramatic transformation. Every new discovery in quantum physics, every breakthrough in neuroscience, challenges us to think bigger, to question more deeply, and to open our minds to the infinite possibilities that lie just beyond the surface of our everyday experience. And perhaps, in that exploration, you'll find that the feeling of being in the wrong reality is not a curse, but a call to awaken, to explore, and to create a life that truly resonates with who you are. The spiritual and metaphysical dimensions. When we step away from the hard numbers and experiments of science, we enter a realm that is at once mysterious, personal, and profoundly expansive. This realm, where spirituality and metaphysics meet, offers a rich tapestry of ideas that have been passed down through centuries and across cultures. Here, the focus isn't so much on measurement or verification as it is on personal experience, intuition, and the belief that there's more to existence than what meets the eye. In this section, we're diving deep into these spiritual and metaphysical dimensions, exploring how ancient wisdom, personal energy, and the idea of a universal consciousness all point to the possibility that reality is far more fluid and interconnected than we might have ever imagined. Let's start with a fundamental idea that many spiritual traditions share: the notion that what we see around us is not the entirety of what exists. Many ancient philosophies talk about the world as an illusion, a veil that hides a deeper, truer reality. For instance, in Eastern traditions like Hinduism and Buddhism, there's the concept of Maya. Maya suggests that our everyday world is like a stage, a projection that can distract us from understanding the ultimate truth of our existence. This isn't meant to dismiss our experiences as unimportant. Rather, it's an invitation to look beyond the surface. When you feel like something isn't quite right, like you're in the wrong reality, it might be a sign that you're catching a glimpse of that deeper level of truth. This idea is not confined to Eastern thought. In many indigenous traditions, the world is seen as alive and full of spirit. Mountains, rivers, and even the wind are often regarded as sentient, imbued with energy and wisdom. This perspective encourages us to see our surroundings as more than just physical objects. They're part of a living, breathing network of energy that connects all things. When you start to notice patterns or coincidences that feel too pointed to be random, it might be because you're picking up on these subtle, energetic signals. The feeling of being in the wrong reality could be your inner self recognizing that the world around you is not in harmony with the deeper, more authentic state of being you're meant to experience. Another key concept in this spiritual landscape is the idea of vibrational frequencies. Simply put, everything in the universe, from the tiniest atom to the grandest galaxy, vibrates at its own unique frequency. This isn't just poetic language. It's a way to express that every thought, emotion, and action has its own energy signature. When you're feeling out of place or misaligned, it might be because your personal vibration isn't matching up with the energy of your environment. Perhaps you're caught in a low-frequency state filled with stress, fear, or negativity, while the reality you're meant to live in vibrates at a higher, more joyful frequency. Spiritual practices like meditation, prayer, and even simple acts of gratitude are seen as tools to raise your vibration. They help clear out the lower energy clutter and make space for higher frequencies, ones that resonate more closely with your true self. The idea of vibration ties directly into the concept of manifestation, the belief that your inner state can shape your outer reality. Many modern spiritual teachings suggest that you can attract what you desire by aligning your thoughts and emotions with the energy of that desire. Think of it like tuning a radio. If you set your dial to the right frequency, you start receiving the broadcast you want. This is why so many people find comfort in affirmations and visualization exercises. When you spend time imagining your ideal life and feeling the emotions associated with that vision, you're essentially sending out a signal to the universe. And according to this perspective, the universe responds in kind by bringing circumstances, opportunities, and even people that match that energy. So if you ever feel like the world around you is off, consider whether your internal state might be out of sync with the reality you want to create. Beyond the ideas of vibration and manifestation, many spiritual traditions also speak of a universal consciousness, a shared, collective energy that binds all of existence together. This isn't a concrete, measurable thing like mass or gravity, but rather a more subtle, pervasive force that connects every living being. In this view, your thoughts and feelings are not isolated events. They ripple out into the collective field, influencing not only your own life, but the lives of those around you. It's a perspective that invites us to see ourselves as part of a greater whole, where every individual is a unique expression of the same universal energy. When you feel alienated, or as if you're living in the wrong reality, it might be because you've become disconnected from this collective consciousness. Many spiritual practices aim to re-establish that connection through community, rituals, or solitary practices like meditation and mindfulness. Meditation in particular has long been championed as a gateway to experiencing these deeper layers of reality. When you sit quietly, focusing on your breath or a particular mantra, you create a space in your mind where the usual chatter fades away. In that silence, you may start to sense something beyond the immediate physical world, a feeling of spaciousness, of interconnectedness, of a reality that transcends everyday concerns. This state of mind can feel profoundly peaceful and enlightening, as if you're tapping into an inner well of wisdom that's been waiting for you all along. It's no wonder that meditation has become a cornerstone of many modern spiritual practices. Not only does it help reduce stress and anxiety, but it also provides a direct experience of the kind of reality that many ancient teachings have been hinting at for millennia. Another powerful aspect of the spiritual and metaphysical dimensions is the concept of intuition. You know that gut feeling you sometimes get, a sense that something isn't quite right, or that a decision should be made a certain way, even when logic doesn't have an answer. Many people believe that this intuition is a direct link to a higher wisdom or a deeper part of yourself that knows what's best for you. Rather than dismissing these feelings as mere whimsy or irrationality, consider that they might be subtle nudges from your inner guide. This inner guide, or higher self, is thought to be more in tune with the deeper currents of the universe. When you listen to your intuition, you're tapping into a reservoir of insight that can help steer you toward a reality that's more aligned with your true purpose. Some spiritual thinkers go even further by suggesting that our souls exist beyond the confines of our current lifetimes. They propose that we've lived many lives, each one contributing to our growth and understanding. In this view, the feeling of being in the wrong reality might be linked to unresolved lessons or experiences from past incarnations. Perhaps you've carried certain energies or patterns with you from one life to the next, and they continue to shape how you experience the world. Reincarnation, karma, and soul contracts are concepts that have been explored in various cultures, each offering a unique take on how our past might influence our present. While these ideas may sound far-fetched to some, they resonate with many who have felt an inexplicable pull towards something greater, a sense that there is more to life than what we currently perceive. Then there are the mystical traditions found in almost every culture around the world. Sufism, Kabbalah, Taoism, and many other paths teach that the journey of life is not just about survival or material success, but about awakening to a higher state of consciousness. These teachings often emphasize that reality is multi-layered and that each of us has the potential to access these deeper layers. They encourage practices that help dissolve the barriers between the self and the universe, allowing you to experience a profound sense of unity with all that is. When you feel that you're stuck in a version of reality that doesn't quite fit, it might be an invitation to explore these mystical paths, a call to awaken to the fullness of your own being and the infinite possibilities that lie beyond the ordinary. One particularly engaging idea within the spiritual realm is that of energy healing. Practices like Reiki, acupuncture, and even certain forms of yoga are based on the belief that our bodies are not just physical machines, but are also energetic systems. When your energy is blocked or out of balance, it can manifest as physical, emotional, or mental issues. By working to clear these blockages, whether through hands-on healing, breathing techniques, or movement, you can help restore a sense of balance and harmony within yourself. It's a concept that suggests that the reality you experience is not fixed by your external circumstances alone, but is also shaped by the flow of energy within you. When you're out of sync, you might feel like you're living in a reality that isn't truly yours. But when you take steps to heal and balance your energy, you open up the possibility of aligning with a reality that feels more vibrant, authentic, and true to who you are. All these ideas, the illusion of Maya, the importance of vibration, the power of intuition, and the potential for energy healing, point toward a view of reality that is deeply personal and infinitely malleable. They invite us to see ourselves not as passive victims of fate or circumstances, but as active creators of our own experience. In this view, the feeling of being in the wrong reality is not a sign of failure or a mistake. It's a signal that you have the potential to change, to grow, and to realign with a reality that is more in tune with your deepest self. One of the most compelling aspects of this spiritual perspective is that it offers hope and empowerment. Instead of accepting a life that feels out of sync or unfulfilling, you're given the tools to explore, question, and ultimately transform your reality. Whether it's through meditation, energy work, or simply cultivating a sense of gratitude and presence, every practice is a step toward reclaiming the life you were meant to live. It's a message that resonates on a deeply human level. You have the power to change your world from the inside out. In our modern lives, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the hustle and bustle of daily routines. We get caught up in deadlines, social media, and the endless stream of information that can drown out our inner voice. Yet many people find that when they slow down and pay attention to that inner guidance, they start to notice the subtle signs that have always been there, signs that point toward a more expansive, interconnected reality. These moments might come as flashes of insight during a quiet walk, the comforting hum of silence during meditation, or even in the form of recurring dreams that seem to speak a language beyond words. They serve as reminders that there's a richer tapestry underlying the fabric of everyday life. Perhaps the most profound aspect of the spiritual and metaphysical dimensions is the idea of unity. At its heart, this perspective tells us that we are not isolated individuals, but rather integral parts of a vast, interconnected whole. Every thought we think, every action we take, sends ripples out into the universe. And just as importantly, the universe is always speaking back to us, whether through synchronicities, dreams, or that gut feeling deep within. When you feel like you're in the wrong reality, it might be a sign that you're momentarily disconnected from this universal flow. By reconnecting with the larger energy field, you begin to understand that your personal reality is inextricably linked to the collective experience of all living beings. This sense of oneness is beautifully encapsulated in many spiritual teachings that emphasize the interconnectedness of all things. When you embrace this idea, you start to see that your challenges, your triumphs, and even your moments of doubt are all part of a larger, shared journey. It's a comforting thought, one that reminds you that you're never truly alone and that every experience is an opportunity to learn, grow, and realign with a higher purpose. Ultimately, exploring the spiritual and metaphysical dimensions is about reclaiming your role as a conscious creator. It's about shifting from a mindset of passive acceptance to one of active engagement with the mysteries of life. While science provides us with the tools to measure and analyze, spirituality offers us the language of the heart, one that speaks to the very core of who we are. It tells us that reality isn't something fixed and immutable. It's a dynamic dance between our inner world and the universe at large. So if you've ever felt like you're in the wrong reality, consider it a wake-up call, a gentle reminder that there's a deeper, more expansive truth waiting to be discovered. Embrace the practices that help you reconnect with your inner self, listen to the whispers of your intuition, and open your heart to the possibility that life is far more wondrous than it appears on the surface. In doing so, you might just find that the reality you thought was wrong can be transformed into one that's not only right, but beautifully aligned with your truest self. Take a moment to breathe, relax, and trust that every step on this journey is guiding you toward a more authentic and vibrant experience. After all, the spiritual and metaphysical dimensions remind us that every challenge, every sign, and every moment of disconnect is just part of a larger, magnificent tapestry. A tapestry that you have the power to weave into the reality of your dreams. Recognizing the signs. When you're in the wrong reality. Sometimes life just feels off. You might be going about your day when a strange sense of disconnect washes over you, a feeling that the world around you isn't quite the one you're meant to be experiencing. It might happen in small moments, almost like a whisper from deep within, or in larger, more dramatic flashes that leave you wondering if you're living someone else's life. In this section, we're going to explore in detail the many signs that could indicate you're in the wrong reality, drawing from personal experiences, scientific musings, and spiritual insights. One of the first and most common signs many people report is déjà vu, a sudden, inexplicable feeling that you've experienced this exact moment before. You might be walking down a street or having a conversation when suddenly everything feels familiar, as if you're reliving a scene from a past life or catching a fleeting glimpse of an alternate possibility. Scientists suggest that déjà vu could be a momentary mix-up in your brain's memory processing, but what if it's more than that? Some believe it might be the universe's way of letting you know that another version of events is unfolding somewhere just beyond your reach. This uncanny familiarity isn't just a quirk of your memory. It could be a sign that you're momentarily tuning into a different frequency, a subtle reminder that multiple realities might be dancing around the edges of your experience. Alongside déjà vu, synchronicities often make their appearance, those two perfect coincidences that seem orchestrated rather than random. Picture this. You're deep in thought about making a big change in your life, maybe a career shift or a move to a new city. And then you begin noticing the same number, word, or symbol everywhere. It might pop up on a license plate, in a book title, or even in a casual conversation. These recurring symbols or numbers aren't typically accidental. Many believe they're intentional messages from the universe or even from a parallel version of yourself. They're like cosmic breadcrumbs leading you to pay closer attention to your inner voice. When these coincidences start to pile up, they can feel like signposts pointing out that the reality you're living might not be the one that truly aligns with your inner truth. Dreams also play a crucial role in this conversation. We all have dreams that feel vivid and real, moments that linger long after we wake up, sometimes leaving us with a bittersweet sense of loss or wonder. When you dream of scenarios that feel incredibly detailed, as if you're living another life, it might be more than just a random collection of memories and fantasies. Many people have reported recurring dreams that seem to mirror a life they wish to live, or even warn them about challenges they haven't yet faced. These aren't merely fleeting images in the night. They can be powerful messages from a deeper part of your psyche, or, as some spiritual traditions suggest, windows into alternate realities. When these dreams recur, or when you experience lucid dreaming, where you're aware that you're dreaming and can sometimes control the dream's direction, it might be your mind's way of telling you that there's more to your story than your current waking reality. Then, there are those unexpected moments when you suddenly feel completely out of place. Imagine sitting in a familiar setting, a coffee shop, your living room, or even a busy street, when suddenly everything seems foreign. It's as if a switch has flipped, and for a brief moment you're aware that this isn't quite where you belong. You might feel a deep sense of longing or a pull towards somewhere else, a place that feels more like home even if you can't pinpoint exactly where it is. This sensation of being out of sync can be disorienting, but it also holds an important clue. It might be your intuition or a deeper part of you trying to signal that your current reality isn't reflecting your true self. Perhaps it's a call to look inward, to reevaluate your path, or even to consider that there might be a different, more aligned reality waiting for you. Our emotions, too, can be messengers. Have you ever noticed that on days when everything seems to be going wrong, when you're inexplicably sad or anxious, even the smallest setbacks hit you harder than usual? This emotional dissonance could be another indicator that you're not in the right headspace for the reality you're experiencing. When your inner world is at odds with your outer environment, it creates a kind of tension that can manifest as overwhelming stress or an enduring sense of dissatisfaction. In some cases, these feelings can be so strong that they seem to take on a life of their own, almost as if they're trying to push you toward a different way of being. This emotional misalignment is not just about having a bad day. It might be your inner self signaling that the reality you're living isn't in tune with who you truly are. Sometimes, the signs can be more subtle, like a gradual shift in your behavior or a change in your interests that you can't quite explain. Perhaps you've started feeling drawn to new hobbies or ideas that once seemed foreign to you. Maybe you suddenly find yourself rejecting old habits or relationships that no longer feel authentic. These shifts might be accompanied by a growing inner voice urging you to take a different path, a path that feels more aligned with your deepest values and desires. In many cases, these behavioral changes aren't random. They're part of a natural evolution as you start to peel back layers of conditioning and reconnect with your core self. It's as if the universe is gently nudging you, saying, "Hey, there's a more fulfilling reality out there, and it's time for you to explore it." Physical sensations can also serve as clues. Some people report experiencing a sort of bodily knowing when they're out of alignment with their environment. You might notice unexplained aches or a general feeling of restlessness, a physical manifestation of the tension between your inner reality and your outer circumstances. This isn't just psychosomatic. Many spiritual traditions believe that the body is an integral part of our energetic system. When your physical state feels off, it can be a reflection of a deeper energetic imbalance. Whether it's a slight headache, a feeling of tightness in your chest, or an overall sense of fatigue, these bodily signals are reminders that your energy might be out of tune with the world around you. It's also worth considering the role of intuition in all of this. That gut feeling or inner knowing, an inexplicable sense that something isn't quite right, often emerges when you're not living in alignment with your truth. Unlike the logical mind, intuition operates on a deeper, more subtle level. It's the part of you that has seen more, felt more, and knows more than your rational brain can articulate. When you experience strong intuitive nudges, pay attention. They might be whispering hints that your current reality is only one possibility among many, and that another, more aligned version of your life is within reach. You may even find that these signs often come in clusters rather than as isolated incidents. For example, you might experience a powerful déjà vu moment, followed by a series of uncanny coincidences throughout your day, and then end the night with a dream that feels like a message from another part of yourself. When these experiences stack up, they form a compelling narrative, a pattern that suggests there is more to your reality than meets the eye. It's like the universe is speaking to you in a language that combines memories, symbols, and emotions, all pointing toward the possibility that the life you're living might be only one version of many. Another interesting aspect to consider is the idea of time perception. Have you ever felt that time is moving differently, sometimes speeding up, sometimes slowing down, especially during moments of intense emotion or when you're deeply immersed in thought? Some researchers suggest that these shifts in time perception are linked to how we process memories and experiences, and they could be another indication that our subjective experience of reality is fluid and multifaceted. When you feel as though time is bending or warping, it might be a sign that you're on the cusp of a deeper understanding, or even that you're briefly slipping into a reality that exists on a slightly different timeline. Then there's the phenomenon of life echoes, those recurring themes or experiences that seem to follow you over and over again. Maybe you notice a pattern in the kinds of challenges you face, or the lessons that keep cropping up in your life. These echoes can serve as reminders of past choices or unresolved issues, and sometimes they even hint at the existence of alternate paths that you might have taken. When you start to recognize these patterns, it can be a wake-up call that prompts you to re-examine your life's trajectory. Perhaps it's an invitation to let go of old habits or to embrace new opportunities that align better with your evolving self. All of these signs, whether they're the familiar tug of déjà vu, the serendipitous appearance of symbols and numbers, the vivid clarity of a recurring dream, or the subtle signals of bodily discomfort, work together to form a tapestry of messages. They're like little pieces of a puzzle that, when put together, reveal a bigger picture, that your current reality might not be the final word on who you are or what you're capable of experiencing. Instead, these signs suggest that you're living on one branch of an incredibly vast tree of possibilities, and that there might be another branch, a different reality, that is calling you to step into a more authentic, aligned version of your life. Recognizing these signs is not about getting lost in overanalysis or losing touch with practical realities. It's about becoming more attuned to the subtle language of your inner world. It's about listening to those quiet moments of insight, those fleeting flashes of clarity, and realizing that they're not random. They're part of a much larger dialogue between you and the universe. They're the universe's way of saying, "I see you. I know there's more to you than what you're experiencing right now." Are you ready to explore what that could be? One of the most powerful ways to start recognizing these signs is through mindful self-reflection. Taking a few minutes each day to pause and check in with yourself can make a big difference. Ask yourself simple questions. How do I feel right now? Does this moment feel in sync with who I am? Are there recurring thoughts or images that seem to surface unexpectedly? Keeping a journal of these experiences can help you detect patterns over time. You might notice that certain feelings or symbols keep appearing, and these recurring themes could be the breadcrumbs leading you to a more aligned reality. It's also helpful to remain open to the possibility that not every sign has to have a clear, rational explanation. Some experiences are meant to be felt rather than dissected. They might be fleeting. A momentary chill, a sudden surge of emotion, a flash of insight that disappears as quickly as it came. Instead of trying to force a concrete explanation for every experience, sometimes it's enough to simply acknowledge that these signs are part of the tapestry of your life. Trust that over time, their meaning will unfold naturally as you continue to evolve. In the end, recognizing that you might be in the wrong reality is not a negative judgment on your life. It's an invitation to take charge of your journey. It's a call to pay closer attention to the signals that your inner self is sending, and to trust that these signs are guiding you toward a reality that feels more like home. Whether you choose to see these signs as messages from a parallel universe, echoes of past lives, or simply as the natural quirks of a complex, ever-changing mind, they serve as reminders that you have the power to shape your experience. By listening to them, you open yourself up to new possibilities and create space for the life you truly deserve. Ultimately, the journey of recognizing these signs is deeply personal. It's a journey of self-discovery, one that encourages you to move beyond the surface of everyday life and delve into the deeper, hidden dimensions of your existence. When you start to notice these signs, and more importantly, when you begin to act on them, you're not just acknowledging a discrepancy in your reality, you're taking the first step toward transforming it. And in that transformation lies the promise of a life that feels fully, authentically yours. Feeling like you're in the wrong reality isn't just a quirky experience. It can have a real impact on your mental health. When there's a constant disconnect between how you feel inside and what you experience outside, it can lead to anxiety, depression, and a deep sense of unease. At its core, this misalignment can create a sort of cognitive dissonance, a gap between your inner beliefs and your external circumstances. Imagine holding a picture in your mind of what your life should be like, only to find that reality falls far short of that ideal. Over time, that gap can widen, leaving you with a lingering sense of dissatisfaction and restlessness. This feeling can also take a toll on your self-identity. When you're not sure if you're living the life that truly reflects who you are, you might start questioning your decisions, your worth, and even your place in the world. It can lead to an internal struggle where you're constantly battling between accepting your current reality and longing for something more authentic, a reality that feels like it was tailor-made for you. The emotional roller coaster of feeling misaligned isn't easy to handle. It can sap your energy, cloud your judgment, and make it hard to enjoy the small moments in life. But here's the good news. Recognizing these feelings is the first step toward change. Once you start to see these signs for what they are, you can begin to work on bridging that gap and moving toward a reality that feels more in tune with your true self. Therapists and counselors often suggest mindfulness practices, journaling, and even cognitive behavioral techniques as ways to reframe your thoughts and break free from negative patterns. These methods can help you become more aware of your inner dialogue and give you the tools to shift your perspective, one small step at a time. So what can you do when you start to feel like you're stuck in the wrong reality? The answer lies in reclaiming your power and realigning with the true version of yourself. This isn't about forcing a radical change overnight, but rather about gradually shifting your energy and habits until you start to see life in a new light. One of the first steps is to adopt daily practices that help raise your vibration. Think of it as tuning an instrument. Your mind and body need to be in harmony for you to resonate with a reality that truly fits you. Simple practices like gratitude, meditation, and mindful breathing can help clear away the mental clutter and allow you to focus on what really matters. Gratitude, for instance, is a powerful tool. When you make a habit of recognizing the good in your life, even on days when things seem off, it helps shift your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant. Over time, this can change your energy, making it easier to attract experiences that match that higher vibration. Meditation is another key practice. By taking just a few minutes each day to quiet your mind and center yourself, you can start to tap into that inner voice that knows what's really important. Meditation helps you step back from the constant chatter of everyday thoughts and connect with a deeper part of yourself, a part that might just hold the key to aligning with the right reality. Visualization techniques are also incredibly effective. Imagine yourself living the life you've always dreamed of. Picture the details, feel the emotions, and let yourself believe that it's not just a fantasy, but a possibility that's waiting for you. This practice of seeing the reality you want to experience can actually help shift your energy and open up new pathways in your life. Creating a daily routine that supports this journey is essential. It might be as simple as setting aside a few quiet moments in the morning for reflection, or as involved as developing a full ritual that combines meditation, journaling, and visualization. The idea is to create habits that continuously remind you of your inner truth and help you move closer to the reality you deserve. Over time, these small changes add up. You start to notice that the dissonance between your inner self and your external life begins to narrow. That nagging feeling of being in the wrong reality starts to fade as you become more attuned to the path that truly reflects who you are. It's a gradual process, but each step you take brings you closer to a life that feels authentic and whole. Now let's talk about choice. The idea that every decision you make creates a ripple in your reality. Every time you choose one path over another, you're not just making a simple decision, you're actively shaping your future. It might sound a bit out there, but consider this. Every choice is like a fork in the road, leading you to a different version of your life. This isn't just philosophy. It's a concept that's supported by both scientific theories and spiritual teachings. Quantum physics, as we discussed earlier, suggests that all possible outcomes exist simultaneously until a choice is made. Your conscious decisions help collapse these possibilities into the reality you experience. In other words, your choices are like the steering wheel of your life. They determine the direction you end up going. It's also about how conscious you are in making those choices. Often we operate on autopilot, letting habits and routines dictate our actions without really thinking about them. But what if you could take control? By becoming more aware of your decisions, big and small, you can start to shape your reality in a way that aligns with your true desires. One practical way to do this is by pausing before making decisions. Take a moment to reflect on what you truly want and how a particular choice might bring you closer to that reality. It might seem simple, but that little pause can be incredibly powerful. It's all about being present and aware, recognizing that you're not just a passive observer in your life, but an active creator. Think of it like this. Every thought, every emotion, and every action sends out a kind of energy that resonates with different possibilities. When you make choices from a place of mindfulness and authenticity, you're essentially tuning into the frequency of the life you want to lead. And when you're on that frequency, you start attracting more of what aligns with your inner truth. There are countless stories of people who've taken control of their choices and witnessed amazing changes in their lives. Whether it's switching careers, moving to a new city, or simply changing a daily habit, these decisions create a ripple effect that can eventually lead to a complete transformation of your reality. It's a reminder that you have more power than you might realize, and that power lies in the choices you make every day. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, all these ideas sound cool, but how do they really connect? The truth is, science, spirituality, and psychology aren't as separate as they might seem. They all point to the same fundamental idea, that reality is fluid, and that our inner world plays a huge role in shaping what we experience. From the scientific side, quantum physics shows us that reality is not a fixed, unchanging thing. It's a dynamic field of probabilities. Neuroscience reveals that our brain is constantly constructing our experience based on how we interpret the world around us. And psychology teaches us about the power of perception and the ways our thoughts and emotions can either limit or expand our reality. Spirituality, on the other hand, gives us a language to talk about these experiences in terms of energy, vibration, and consciousness. It offers practices like meditation, visualization, and gratitude as tools to help us raise our frequency and align with the life we truly want to live. And psychology provides practical strategies to manage our emotions and overcome the mental hurdles that keep us stuck in old patterns. When you blend these perspectives together, you get a powerful, holistic approach to understanding and changing your reality. It's like having a toolkit that's full of different tools, each one offering a unique way to tap into your inner power and start living the life that feels right for you. One key insight from this integrated approach is that transformation starts from within. It's not about waiting for the right circumstances or for the universe to hand you what you want. It's about taking deliberate, mindful steps every day to shift your thoughts, feelings, and actions. And as you do that, you begin to notice subtle changes in your external world, a kind of feedback loop where your inner state starts to reshape your outer reality. It might sound a bit abstract at first, but try this. Think about a time when you felt really good, when you were happy, confident, and in sync with everything around you. Chances are that positive inner state not only made you feel great, but also attracted positive experiences. That's the power of integrated change. When science, spirituality, and psychology work together, the results can be truly transformative. Now, it's important to address some of the doubts and criticisms that come with these ideas. Not everyone is ready to embrace the notion of multiple realities, quantum choices, or vibrational frequencies. And that's okay. Skepticism is a natural part of exploring new ideas. Some folks might say, "This is just wishful thinking," or "it's all in your head." While it's true that some of these ideas haven't been proven in a strict scientific sense, it doesn't mean they aren't valuable or that they can't offer meaningful insights into our lives. After all, many of the most groundbreaking ideas in history were met with skepticism before they were accepted. When it comes to the feeling of being in the wrong reality, it's useful to separate what we know from what we believe. The scientific theories around quantum physics are backed by experiments and mathematical models, even if they're hard to fully grasp on an everyday level. And while the spiritual aspects might seem more like philosophy or personal belief, they have resonated with people for centuries because they offer a way to connect with a deeper, more intuitive understanding of life. One common misconception is that if you feel out of place, something is inherently wrong with you. In reality, those feelings can be a signal, a call to pay closer attention to what your inner self is trying to tell you. They can be a sign that you're ready for change, ready to explore new possibilities, and break free from old patterns that no longer serve you. It's also important to balance open-mindedness with critical thinking. Embrace the ideas that inspire you, but don't be afraid to ask questions. Investigate, experiment, and see what resonates with you personally. At the end of the day, your reality is your own, and you have the power to decide what's true for you. As we look ahead, the idea of multiple realities and the power of our inner world are likely to become even more relevant. With rapid advances in technology, like virtual reality and augmented reality, our understanding of what real means is already shifting. We're beginning to see how our experiences can be transformed by technology, blurring the lines between what's virtual and what's tangible. Scientists are also pushing the boundaries of consciousness research. As we learn more about how our brains construct reality, we may uncover even deeper insights into the nature of existence. Imagine a future where we can consciously navigate through different layers of reality, choosing to experience life in ways that align perfectly with our inner selves. On the spiritual front, new paradigms are emerging that challenge our traditional ideas of what it means to be human. Concepts like universal consciousness and energy healing are gaining traction as more people look for holistic ways to improve their well-being. The integration of these ideas with modern science could pave the way for innovative practices that help us live more authentically and in tune with the world around us. Global connectivity is also playing a role in shaping our collective reality. The internet and social media have created a space where ideas spread quickly and people from different cultures and backgrounds can share their experiences. This exchange of perspectives is contributing to a more diverse and multifaceted understanding of reality, a reality that is constantly evolving as we learn from one another. As we move forward, it's clear that the boundaries of reality are not fixed. Whether through scientific discovery, technological innovation, or spiritual awakening, the potential for transformation is enormous. And that's something to get excited about, because it means that each of us has the power to help shape the future of our own lives and, by extension, the world around us. We've come a long way on this journey, exploring everything from the nature of reality and the science behind multiple possibilities, to the spiritual insights and psychological impacts of feeling like you're in the wrong reality. If there's one thing you take away from all this, it's that the experience of feeling misaligned isn't something to be feared. It's a signal, a call to action. It's a chance to reevaluate your choices, reconnect with your inner truth, and start creating the reality that truly fits you. Take a moment to think about the signs you've experienced. Have you ever had a moment of déjà vu that left you wondering if you'd been there before? Have you noticed strange coincidences or recurring dreams that seem to whisper of another life? These experiences might be your inner self's way of telling you that it's time to listen and to make a change. I invite you to embrace this journey of self-discovery. Start by practicing daily gratitude, meditation, and mindful reflection. These simple habits can help you tune into your inner voice and raise your vibration, making it easier to align with the reality that feels right for you. And remember, every choice you make is a step toward shaping your future. Even the small decisions matter. They're the building blocks of the life you want to create. If this message resonates with you, consider sharing your thoughts in the comments. Tell me about the moments when you felt out of place, or the synchronicities that made you stop and wonder if there was more to your reality. Let's create a space where we can learn from each other's experiences and support one another on this journey of transformation. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into why you might feel like you're in the wrong reality and how you can start to change that. If you enjoyed this exploration, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others who might need a little reminder that they too have the power to reshape their reality. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep believing that the life you truly want is just a choice away. For those of you who want to dive even deeper, here are a few extra thoughts. I'll answer some common questions and bust a few myths along the way. First off, you might be wondering, is it really possible to change my reality just by shifting my thoughts? While there's no magic switch, countless stories and some emerging research suggest that when you align your mind, body, and spirit, amazing things can happen. Think of it like planting a seed. Your thoughts are the water and sunlight that help that seed grow into the reality you want. Let's also talk about intuition. That gut feeling you sometimes get when you just know that something isn't right or that a change is needed isn't something to brush off. It might be your subconscious picking up on patterns or even hints from a different branch of reality where life is unfolding in a more fulfilling way. So, next time you feel that twinge of intuition, pause and reflect on what it might be trying to tell you. I know some of you might still be skeptical, and that's okay. It's perfectly normal to question these ideas, especially when they challenge long-held beliefs about what's possible. But remember, every great discovery started with a question, a moment of doubt that pushed someone to look deeper. Keep an open mind and trust that your inner voice has valuable insights to offer. Before we wrap up, here are some resources you might find interesting if you want to explore these topics further. Check out books on quantum physics that explain the many worlds theory in everyday language, or dive into spiritual texts that discuss vibrational energy and universal consciousness. There are also plenty of documentaries and podcasts where experts share their thoughts on how science and spirituality intersect. Whether you're a die-hard science fan or a seeker of spiritual truth, there's a wealth of information out there waiting for you. As we come to the end of our discussion today, I want you to remember that feeling like you're in the wrong reality isn't a sign of failure or a problem. It's an invitation to look deeper, to question the status quo, and to actively create the life that feels right for you. Every thought, every emotion, every choice you make is a step along that path. And while the journey might seem daunting at times, you have the power to reshape your reality, one moment at a time. So take a deep breath, trust in your inner wisdom, and step boldly into the life you were meant to live. Thank you for spending this time with me. I can't wait to hear your thoughts and experiences, so please, leave a comment below and let's keep this conversation going. Remember, your reality is not fixed. It's a canvas, and you hold the brush. Now go out there and paint the picture of your dreams.